Welcome to Dream in Color. This is Virginia Porta, an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Today, I'm coming to you to share a card that was inspired by handcrafted creations. We will be using the Swirly Bird stamps and the Swirly Scribbles Thinlits. The colors we will choose today will be Garden Green, Pear Pizzazz, and Pumpkin Pie. The Swirly Bird stamp set is product 141749, and the sentiment comes from Dragonfly Dreams 142924. Here are the paper cuts you will need to make. Using Very Vanilla for your base, you'll cut the paper at 4 1/4 by 11 and score it at 5 1/2. You will make other cuts as listed below, using Garden Green and Pumpkin Pie. We'll begin the process by stamping the background bubbles from the Swirly Bird stamp set in the 3 colors that are shown. Remember, when you stamp on a card like this, you'll want to stamp off of the edge, and when you have an image like this, you will want to turn it as you stamp so that you don't get any patterning. I'll speed up the video for the other 2 colors. As you stamp these 3 colors, like I said, you will turn the image so that you don't get any patterning. You'll also want to stump off the edges. I always do a test stamp once on scrap paper just to make sure that the image is what I want. Then, as you stamp the other 2 colors, you'll overlap them some so that you get the blending of the colors across there. Now the question might be, how did I come up with these colors? I also borrowed that idea from Handcrafted Creations and used a random number generator and assigned it to my colors and simply said, give me 3 numbers and let's see what we can make out of it. It makes for a little bit of a challenge, but a lot of fun. The Swirly Bird stamp set comes from the annual catalog, and although I've used it in nautical type things and more summery colors, this is the first time I've used it for fall colors, and I think it works out very well. Now, we'll add a stripe of the pumpkin pie to the left-hand side of the card. This is the 3/4 inch strip that we cut earlier. We'll adhere that with snail adhesive simply to give the card some grounding to the left. You can also substitute ribbon or any other fibers that you might have on hand. But I was, in an effort to keep this a little more flat, I thought I'd use just a piece of cardstock. You'll notice that I pulled it up and reset it. It was a little crooked, and I did cut it a little bit longer than it needed to be. That way I covered in case my cardstock was not cut perfectly on my card base. The next thing we're going to do, we'll use those 3 colors of paper that we talked about. And using the Swirly Scribbles Thinlits, cut 3 circles. I'll fiddle with those a little bit and get those on the card like I like. Now, the one thing I want you to see is the fine tip glue gun, or fine tip glue pen that I'm using. That is a must-have when you're dealing with these delicate thinlits like this. I love this glue, and I can't get enough of it. It lasts forever, but the thing is, you can control where it goes, and you can control exactly how much you use. After putting those thinlits on, I took the smaller card base and adhered it to the garden green background, and then, after making sure the card was folded the right direction, I put it on the card base that I had folded vertically. At this point, I realized that we needed a sentiment on this card, so that's when I accessed the Dragonfly Dreams stamp set and found the sentiment on the front that says, "To a wonderful friend." That's cut on a piece of Very Vanilla that is 3 inches by 3/4 of an inch. And then the companion sentiment is cut on the inside. And it says, "Enjoy your special day." This is a great card that you can use for a birthday, for a pick-me-up, for an anniversary, and it goes either way for men or women. So this is a great card to have on hand, and I probably will be making more to have in my stash. Another trick, when you're stamping a sentiment like this that's rather narrow, Rather than pre-cutting your paper and trying to make sure the sentiment centers on the paper, I cut a larger piece of paper, stamped my sentiment, and then trimmed it to the 3 inches by 3 inches by 3/4. I then used the mini dimensionals that are also in the annual catalog to adhere the sentiment at the bottom right-hand corner of the card. Here you'll see me put in the sentiment on the inside, which says, "Enjoy your day." These products can all be found on my website or connecting through my blog. For more information, visit my blog at www.dreamincolor.blog or my website that you can access through Stampin' Up! Thanks for joining me.